All right, so since we're down over half the party tonight, I threw together a great American novel real quick for us to experiment with tonight. It's a real fun game by a guy named Christopher Gray, who I've had the pleasure to actually speak with, and I have played the game a couple of times. So we'll give this one a shot. The thing about this particular game is you guys as players have as much creative control pretty much as I do. So you have the opportunity to change the course of the game yourself. Now, since there's just three of us tonight, I'm going to actually play as a character as well, just to add a little bit more flavor to the mix. But I will be acting kind of as the storyteller. But when it comes time for me to do something that maybe the storyteller should be in control of, I'm actually going to pass it over to you guys to determine the outcome for the character. So what we need to do to start off is do a couple of things. We have to determine our novel's theme. We have to identify our lacunae, which basically is stuff that's off limits. If we don't want to, address certain things within the novel, then, we can state that. We need to create the setting, discover your conflicts, and then create your characters and understand the relationships between each of the player characters. So establishing the theme can take a little while. So what I did is basically just kind of rolled on a chart that he's got in the book to kind of give us at least a starting point that where we can kind of build off of.
Okay.
And so there are three different themes basically that you combine to kind of create your overall arcing theme for the novel. So what I rolled was the horror of war, regret, and human ingenuity.
Okay.
So those are our three themes.
All right.
Now, is there anything that is off limits for us as far as subject matter or anything like that that we don't want to get into?
No, me. I'm pretty much open to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty well. I've given this a lot of thought in other games. I'm pretty well open to wherever stories go.
Okay, cool. And then we need to create our setting. And this means what time period and the setting in which the novel will take place. So I'll leave that up to a discussion to the group. So we know we have the horror of war, regret, and human ingenuity.
I'm the type of person, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. I a lot of times don't like to be restricted by a time period.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find myself focusing too much on trying not to create an anachronism than trying to create a story. So I would pitch to go towards something possible post-apocalyptic future.
Okay.
That's cool.
I think we could have some fun with that.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought you were going to land on present day, but future's cool.
But I'm open on anything else for anybody else. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the same for me. It's the same as it is with limits. I'm pretty well open to. I'm amicable on this kind of stuff, and that actually sounds. I mean, like a futuristic, post-apocalyptic. That actually sounds pretty cool, and it goes probably pretty well along with the themes that we've rolled. So, not that it should be easy, but for the sake of keeping it easy, I mean, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So post-apocalyptic is our setting then. I'm good with that. Yeah.
Okay.
And where does this take place?
Okay, just ever since you pitched this idea, I'm talking like your comment on Facebook pitched this idea. I don't know why, but in my head, it's been like a Western type of setting in my, just in my, now, not necessarily way back when cowboys and all that, but I in my head, I see this like the Great American Novel. The first thing that came to my head was like desert. You know what I mean? Like it's new towns in the desert and stuff.
So we're thinking like, Arizona, New Mexico, that type of setting.
So, I mean, I'm good with a New Mexico-ish.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And so,
Bad, yes.
what would have been the cause of this apocalypse?
Since one of our themes would be the horror of war, I would think war. Whether it would be some sort of actual American Civil War or some side of World War that has taken effect over the entire world, or whether it's just the United States or North America.
I'm open to the whole world or localized, but I going along with the horrors of war, I think it'd be kind of cool if maybe the apocalypse-ish part of it is maybe the result of biochemical something, biochemical warfare type thing, where it was like maybe like a virus that was released, but it became, it infected a lot more people than was intended type of thing. Some sort of attack that was, preemptively decided on that backfired.
Okay. Now, are there some side effects to this virus? Like, I would assume that our characters survived for one reason or another,
right?
Whether it's they were immune in some way or the virus is still out there, they could potentially still catch it, and there's some catalyst for them to actually be subject to this virus.
Sure. So this is just where my head goes kind of when you pitch that. I'm just kind of throwing out what comes to mind, but I would think that they survived, having potentially been exposed but not infected with the virus, and that there is still a chance of potential infection or exposure, and maybe there are I don't know about side effects. That part I'm struggling with, but maybe there are enforcers or baddies, for lack of a better word, but whoever was on the team of the folks that unleashed this weapon to begin with, they're now basically doing a walkthrough potentially either looking for survivors or people that have been infected or whatever to finish the job type of thing. So maybe it's side effects is what I'm struggling. Because I don't just zombies, you know what I mean? Like, it's
I don't want to go there either. Have you guys ever read any Jeff Vanderveer? He did the Annihilation trilogy, or the Southern Gothic trilogy is what it's called, but Annihilation is part of that. And he does, all of his books are very post-apocalyptic biological type settings, to where, but he takes it into really strange realms of this, and a lot of, we could go something like that, to where it's affected some of the animals to where they've become more predatory, that's large, and it doesn't really affect humans that much, but it affects the world around them more than it affects the humans.
I like that.
Doesn't have to be exactly that, but it's something like that, to where we're not dealing with our own, it affecting ourselves and our own mortality. It's the world has become more aggressive towards us, trying to kill us.
So bear with me, almost like a Planet of the Apes kind of thing.
A little bit like that, yeah, but not like, they're not. We could have, it could be an evolved species, maybe, wolves or something like that have become sentient and can fight and hunt better, something like that. But it's not really quite that direction. It's like, in a couple of them, like they've created these huge beasts that just feed off of everything and absorb them and just get larger and larger and larger, and like to where they so hard you can't kill them because they're so large.
Right. And I think that too does kind of plays in with the bio thing that I was talking about. And then it also too, it gives, I think it gives us more of a reason to be wary of the environment as a whole. And it's a good explanation too for even whoever unleashed this, and caused this to happen.
Yeah.
Either did not anticipate this or knew this was going to happen, but didn't care that they didn't know how to stop it.
Yeah. Or either knew and there was an accident and it got out.
Yeah, and now it's too late. Now it's these things, creatures are all too big.
But
there's no turning back.
Honestly, like in a way, sentient, like smarter other animals like Planet of the Apes, I think would be fun.
Sure, yeah. Maybe it affects different animals different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be cool.
Yeah,
just based on their genetics.
Mm-hmm.
So is the enemy then the animals?
I think that would be, we would have to fight them to survive, but I think what we would be trying to do would be we could do that if we wanted to just, make it a story of survival, or if we wanted to have, an end game trying to, find, a lab or something.
Or maybe like maybe there's rumors of like a Shangri-La type, Garden of Eden type place where the shit's not happening and hasn't been infected by, and maybe we're trying to get there type of thing. That could be cool. But yeah, I would think the animals are an obstacle to survive, not really the solution to the problem,
Okay. Okay, so I think that our conflicts, there has to be two to start, and these are ever present. Each chapter that we play, you can confront either one of these conflicts or both of them, but you can only confront these particular conflicts once per chapter, either one of them once per chapter.
Okay.
But they will always be running throughout. There may be other conflicts that arise during play. Once you overcome that particular conflict, then it is taken off of the table and can never be brought back.
Okay.
So I think the two main conflicts should be survival and find the cure.
Okay. Yep, I'm good with that.
And so now we need to create the characters. So you have downloaded the character concepts. And you have the conflicted right fighter. You have the courageous youth. You have the cunning rascal, the honorable guardian, the loyal lieutenant, the mysterious recluse, the naive outsider, the oath-sworn champion, the regretful elder, the inspired innocent, the secret devil, the trapped socialite, and I think that's it. Yeah. So Frick, I think you had a first and second choice, right?
Yeah, I've got to back up just in case Clint picked the same thing, but I had initially been drawn to the regretful elder.
Okay. Gotcha. And I was drawn to either the mysterious recluse or the secret devil.
The secret what? Secret devil.
Devil. which since we've only got 2 people, I don't think that would probably play out that well. So I will probably go with the recluse.
And what's the full title of that?
Yeah.
The mysterious recluse.
And Frick, you're the elder. What's the adjective there?
Regretful. The regretful elder.
And I am going to be the loyal lieutenant. So on those sheets, you will see certain things that we're going to have to use to actually complete the characters. So let me pull that back up here. I'm going to go to the regretful elder here, just since you don't have that where you're able to really look at it fully. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to decide whether he's a broken warrior, a confident survivor, or a functional introvert. And it gives you your instinct, personality, and morality. This is what you would write into each one of those.
Yep.
So your broken warrior gets an instinct of 2, personality of 0, morality of 0. And this is what you use with the dice. When you roll, you add or subtract those whenever you roll. And you want to get a 7 or yeah, you want to get a 7 or better to be able to succeed.
Okay, so it'd be like your dice roll plus whatever your instinct or morality score is. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So I had written down confident survivor. If
okay. Sure. Yeah, that's great. All right. So the confident survivor is instinct 2, personality 1, morality -1. And Plant as the mysterious recluse.
I'm going to go with antisocial.
Okay, so instinct 2, personality 0, morality 0. You'll just fill those in. The next thing we need to look at is motivation. And that is starting out as your character, you have at least one motivation and what it is that your particular goal happens to be in this reality. And that can be as easy as, where'd I go? Expressing anger, to cheat, to earn trust, to injure, to pay a debt, to cover up the truth, to find the truth, whatever it may be, whatever you feel like your character would be motivated to do in this reality. And then you will need to share that with the group.
No.
Okay. You tell me if this is too vague and I can't do this, but find inner peace.
Sure.
Okay. Mine, I think, is going to be to forget the past. If that will work.
Sure. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is...
Don't you need to share yours?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Mine is to find the truth. So the next thing that we need to do is to discover what our relationships are with one another.
The way I see, you guys may have heard of me, but you probably have never, at the very least, talked to me, very possibly never even seen me. I feel like I live in a very secluded area. I have traps set up around my house to protect myself from the animals. And the only person I would probably have some sort of relationship with would be some sort of possibly traveling merchant or something like that.
Okay. I like that idea, but here's what I would like to do.
Okay, that's fine.
With my character as a connection to yours is you're my long lost uncle that I've only heard stories about.
Okay.
I know basically where you live. I've heard stuff about you from my father, who is now gone. And that I think that maybe you might have information that might be useful to me in seeking the truth.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then perhaps with, well, Frick, tell me kind of what you're thinking here.
So my initial thought, I was trying to think about how I might be in any way connected to the lieutenant, other than maybe part of what is regretful about this particular elder's past was maybe that in order to survive, that he made some very difficult decisions regarding, you know, like maybe his family or people he knew, and I feel like he has been in this area, whether it's a secluded area or a town, or I mean, kind of flesh that out, but he's been in the area for a long time, and at a minimum, you know, knows of the recluse and has maybe seen him, but knows well enough not to ask questions and to stay away, perhaps from hearing other rumors or things about people going out near there and getting hurt by maybe potentially by one of his traps or whatever. And he, as far as the elder is concerned, he, you know, has got to this place where he wants to be, you know, he wants to survive, obviously, but he wants to be left alone to stew in his guilt. And in that, you know, in that stead has grown a small garden out in this area of succulents and whatnot, and spices and everything. And that's the only thing he does, is go into town to trade those with any merchant, and always at a way fair price. Like it's almost like a penance. Like I'm attempting to do whatever I can to contribute to anybody around by growing a little bit of food. And it's all I can do with everything around. So I know the people in the area, including the recluse, but again, probably haven't, you know, spoke to him, and I know enough to tell other people to stay away.
Okay, so how do we know each other?
So perhaps you this uncle, like in your mind, you've never seen him, right?
Never seen him. Yeah, right.
Okay. Is it possible that you maybe have visited other relatives in the area and just have never seen him, or have you just never been to this area even, you think?
I probably have come here specifically to find him. So maybe I'm not originally from here, but I know that he lives in this area.
Okay. And there's nobody else in the area that you might know?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I think I'm stuck on this lieutenant thing, because I'm like, what if we, like, you know, when all this was breaking out and first happening, there obviously would have been, I think anyway, you know, fighting in, you know,
I got it. I think I got it.
Oh, good.
I think I got it.
I just saw the light bulb go off. That was really cool.
So my dad was a survivalist. He and his brother both were, you know, survivalists.
Okay.
My dad taught me, you know, everything there was to know about, you know, guns and ammo and all that sort of stuff. He really wanted me to go into the service. I decided not to. You were, friends with Dad,
Yes.
and
There you
you're the one guy that might have a lead on where my uncle happens to be, and I am coming there to visit you to try to see if we can track down my uncle.
Like a glove, man, like a glove. That's perfect.
Okay.
I like
So
that.
you and Dad served together.
Yes, and that's that plays into the regretful elder thing. I think how I feel about what I had to do in wartime, or what I maybe wanted to do in wartime and now regret, whatever, that I think plays in perfectly.
And what if maybe then adding to the regretful elder then for you, the reason why you are regretful is because when you were at war,
Yep.
Dad died on your watch and you feel responsible for that?
Oh, okay. And you're playing this because this is the only other question I have about this reality. In this reality, I know your dad, but I maybe don't know that he's connected to the old guy in town, right? Like the recluse that lives way out there with all the traps. Do I have any idea that that's
I would say
buddy?
that you probably suspect that that's your former soldier, your former mate,
right?
You believe that is his brother because of the stories that you've heard about him, the way that he acts, and and so forth. That you do believe that you know exactly who that is. Yeah,
I like that. That's actually really good, as opposed to just knowing it's the creepy guy in town and warding people off. I've got very specific reasons for wanting to do it. I like that. That's good.
There's a couple other things here on the sheet we got to look at real quick, and that's your personality, which is your key trait, your trait when rising, and your trait when falling. You have to pick one of each of those for your personality there.
So looking over them, when I was looking over the sheets earlier, I landed on my key trait being uneasy, hence the wanting to find inner peace. And then my personality being very self-aware of, where I'm at in life and the wrongs or the things that have gone wrong that, that I'm not feeling so good about. And then the fall is when falling, I got fucking angry, just mad, just explosively angry.
I ended up picking helpful for my key trait, when rising, martyr, and when falling, vindictive.
Lovely. My key trait is unique. Personality when rising is ambitious, and when falling, obsessive.
And Chris, I got your martyr and vindictive. What was the other one?
Helpful for key trait.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
What was yours again, Fred?
Mine are uneasy for the key trait, rising is self-aware, and falling is explosive anger.
So you will basically just use that as kind of a motivation for how your character reacts to certain situations. Okay.
Gotcha.
Your literal blueprint for this is what my character would do. Got it.
And then if you look at occupation, who are you loyal to, reason for your loyalty, what sways your loyalty, and you're driven by, right underneath that under backstory. You just pick one of those, you can circle it, just to again remind you, how to play the character, and you don't have to share those. Okay, so this is basically how the game works. We all start off in an arc, and we are flat. So you don't have a plus or a minus at all. Okay. As we go through the game, you can roll a flat move at any time So that would be satiate, navigate others, or rally at any time that you feel like when you're confronting a conflict. You can always roll flat. You can choose at the beginning, whichever way you're going. When you decide you're either falling or rising, you can either choose a falling move or a rising move. Your falling moves mean to lash out, enforce your will, or to condemn. Rising moves are protect yourself, befriend, or make a moral stand. Once you are on that path, you may only roll either a flat move or something on either the rising or falling path that you have chosen. So if you're falling, you can only do falling and flat moves. If you're rising, you can only do rising and flat moves. Okay. The only time that you may switch is by spending a plot point, and I'll get to that in a second, by changing your arc. So if something happens to basically force you into making a decision that is going to cause you to fall, then you spend a plot point and then you switch your arc to falling. Or if you're falling and you want to rise to an occasion and kind of become the hero again, then you can spend a plot point to begin to rise. Okay. Once you reach either a -5 on falling or a +5 on rising, then you can no longer ever switch arcs, and you are stuck on that path. And you will either decide to continue to play at that point, or if narratively it fits, you can choose to basically close out your character in some way, whether that's achieving his goal in some manner or completely failing in that goal, dying or what have you. Then you can choose to do that. If you choose to do that, then you become a co-narrator for the story at that point. And you determine the outcome. You get, I think, 5 extra plot points that you can then begin to manipulate the story the way that you want to. Now, plot points. You each have a plot point to start, and you get 1 plot point per chapter. You can earn a plot point at the beginning of the chapter. You can accept a conflict from the novelist so that the novel character can make a move, and this character player receives 1 plot point in return. When a character resolves a conflict, you receive 1 plot point in return. Spending plot points, you can switch your novel character's arc to make a move, which I've already discussed. You can create a conflict so that you can make a move. Or you can take narrative control and introduce a new story element or an NPC. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that basically covers the rules. As far as like rolling, anytime you roll, a result of 7+ is a success, and the conflict is resolved and is removed from the table except for setting conflicts, which are always present. The character gets a plot point for resolving the conflict. If rolling against another novel character, that novel character gets a +1 arc for conceding. So let's say that Frick, you roll against Clint, and if Clint says, all right, I concede to that, then Clint will get a plot point for that.
Okay.
A character player receives +1 arc for rising and flat moves, or a -1 arc for falling moves. The novelist narrates the outcome for a result of 7+, so I get to narrate the outcome of that. If the move and narrative represents a chapter move, the novel moves into the next chapter. If you get a result of 10 or more, you apply all those same results, and the character player then narrates the outcome and has full narrative control with the ability to control the setting and setting characters. So you become the novelist at that point. You determine exactly what happens. The only thing you can't do is control another novel character, another player character. Okay. If you roll a 6 or below, the conflict is not resolved and it's still in play. The character or player receives a -1 arc. If rolling against a novel character, that novel character gets a +1 arc for not conceding, and the novelist narrates the outcome and has full narrative control. Okay?
Makes sense.
All right.
Makes sense.
So I guess we should probably start to play this game.
Give it a shot, see what happens.
Oh, we need names real quick. Let's do names. Where am I at here?
Okay, I'm going to say the first thing that popped into my head as the regret. His name is Rutherford. Anybody who knows him knows he just goes by Ford.
Thorg?
Ford, F-O-R-D. Ford. Rutherford,
like
okay. Rutherford. Right. Rutherford B. Hayes, something, but yeah, Ford.
Right. Can you change your name on Zoom for me?
Oh, yeah. I think so. Settings. I might be able to. Hold on.
What about you, Clint?
John.
What's his last name?
What's your last name?
I was gonna go with Marshall.
That works for me, but everybody just knows me as John.
All right. Okay, so here we are in our new setting of our great American novel. There was a war. Well, not even a war, but something happened to cause the apocalypse. And what has happened is a certain pathogen has gotten out within the canine community and has affected all dogs, wolves, coyotes, any of the canines that exist, and they have all gone feral, rabid, and aggressive. And this has caused countless deaths across the United States, to the point where people have basically kind of been driven back to survivalist times. There are so many pets out there, number one, that turned feral. The smaller ones certainly are easily dispatched, but the larger ones much more difficult to put down. But they have now gained a pack mentality with their canine brethren of all types. So it is not uncommon to see a wolf pack that has now brought in pit bulls and Great Danes and Rottweilers into their mix. Even though these animals are rabid, their intelligence level has increased, so they now, as a pack, can sometimes outmaneuver small groups of humans. Most humans now try to gather in larger groups in closed areas to defend themselves from any roving packs that happen to be out in the wild or in the urban areas, and have basically holed themselves up for the most part inside. Generally, if they go outside, they go out in large groups in most cases. Only the incredibly brave or the incredibly stupid go out alone. One of those incredibly brave or incredibly stupid individuals is Sean Marshall, who has caught wind that in Albuquerque, New Mexico, at the CDC location, he has uncovered information that the outbreak, this was where patient 0 was located. And he had family that lived in Albuquerque, most all of which fell to the first wave of these canines that came through and started culling the human population. But he knows somewhere out there, most likely, the uncle that he never met, the recluse that trained his father in the arts of survival, is somewhere out there in Albuquerque, nearby, out in the wild. And it's his mission to try to track him down, because if anybody is going to be able to get him inside that facility, which is now being guarded by the U.S. military, it's probably going to be his Uncle John. So tell me what you guys are doing in this first chapter.
Well, I have a compound outside of Albuquerque, maybe about 10 miles out, I'd say. It is self-sufficient. It was my home originally, but I have beefed up the, I guess, defenses around it. It was like an estate type thing that had a wall around it. To start off with, I have dug a trench, basically a moat all the way around it, and you only get into it through a drawbridge. It has a solar array that allows me to sustain myself, and a well has been dug originally for water. So I can grow my own food. I can, still have electricity, heat, whatever I need to survive out of this. Basically, I have been trying to figure out how to. I know that something happened to cause this at that military base, or at least that's what I think. So I have plans laid out all around my house, trying to figure out how to get into this base. Trying to, it's got the wall with the pins and the strings and all of that big conspiracy theorist type shit going on. And that is the only thing I have been doing since this all started.
Okay. What about Ford?
So Ford is at a little home that is not quite as secluded on the outskirts of Albuquerque, but there's the gas station. It's on the way out of town, and that's it for a long time. That's maybe the only thing I live near. But at this point, he's working in the garden. And if you think about it, what's that old saying? It's better to be a gardener or a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war.
Mm-hmm.
He heard that from the guy who became his best friend while he was in service, he really took that to heart because he felt like a gardener the whole time he was fighting. But now he's back. His family's gone. All but one of them fell to the pathogen, and the kid that I had that survived fell to a pack of wolves out harvesting. So and I was my decision to send them out. And it's just more shit that I live with that weighs on me very heavily. And on this particular day, it's feeling real gloomy up in here, and I'm just out in the garden and I'm harvesting. Plans to go to town here later and take some of the spices to some of the folks I know in town. But right now I'm just trying to lose myself in the garden.
All right, so what is it that you just kind of grow food and stuff like that? And
whatever will grow in this dry environment. It's little things that can be kept in potted, like styrofoam potted plants, like those little old science tricks, But yeah, little succulents, spices here and there. Probably has some not lavender. What's the other one? Starts with an S, and I'm blanking on it. But we just got an array of different spices and some potatoes, potentially a little tomato plants kept down in the basement of the house, probably. He's got a little setup down there with like they have the hanging lights, so you can do like an indoor greenhouse. He's got like a really basic setup of one of those, and it's not much, but he grows what he can, eats as little as he can to feed himself, and then takes other food to folks in town. And it ain't much, but it's a penance. It's a penance for him.
Okay, so you probably have a ham radio in order to communicate with the folks that are in town.
Yep.
And there is a group of individuals that you've done some trading with that are based out of one of the local high schools there in Albuquerque.
Okay.
And they basically just walled up, the school and are keeping the wildlife out as much as possible. And you get a notification, from the ham radio if someone's trying to contact you.
Okay. So yeah, I'm outside. I've got that thing probably sitting just on the stoop or right inside the door where I can hear it, and I will, go over there and kind of pick it up and check in. Ford.
It's Bill Foster, the principal at the high school. We're running a little bit low on supplies at the moment, and could really use some of your goods if you could make the trek.
Doing everything I can, Bill. Had a pack come through and take out a little section of garden here recently, so I lost some of the stuff I was going to bring, but I've got some stuff. I'll see you in an hour.
You're awesome. We appreciate the help. What can we give you in return?
As always, nothing. Just stay alive. If anybody has found extra ammo, I'm probably running a little low, just firing shots to keep these things at bay, but it's not necessary. I'll bring you what I have. I expect nothing in return.
I'm sure we can come up with a couple of boxes. What do you need?
I've got the rifle and a couple of the handguns. The handguns are in case of emergency stopping power. The rifle's what I use the most. So if you've got the bullets to spare for that, That's what I'm running.
We've been trying to stockpile as much rifle ammo as we can, because we've got people perched up on the roof, just kind of popping these things off from a distance as much as possible to try to, keep them away from the walls. So I think we can probably spare a couple of boxes.
Great, Bill. Hey, I appreciate that. Again, not necessary, but I do appreciate it. I'll bring a little something extra for you too.
Well, for us, it is necessary that we do some sort of trade with you because you're keeping our people fit. So we appreciate the work that you're doing out there.
I probably appreciate the boost in ego. I suppose I would hardly call what I do keeping the whole group fed, but if it's helping, it's helping. I'll see you here in a little bit.
All right. Okay. So what do you do to prepare to go?
So I've got some just like rucksack style things that I've made up that I can keep some of the different foods and different supplies in that I might need. The one pistol that I do have that's loaded, I've got it. I'm checking it. It's loaded. Everything's click, lock, ready to rock. And then I'm headed to a small shed that's next to my house. It's got like a little ramp that goes up to it, and I've got my key, and I'm unlocking the shed. And what's in the shed is it's gasoline powered, so I have to be very conservative with it. But it's like a man-made, think go-kart, but really tricked out. And it's a way for me to get to and from town quickly without having to walk. I'm not riding a bicycle or anything like that, but this little thing is like a start it up, and I can get up 30 miles an hour in this thing, and it keeps me on track to the town and keeps everything else at bay. Allows me to somewhat outrun anything that would otherwise want to mess with me if I was just walking. So I'm prepping it, checking it, making sure it's good to go. Everything's where it needs to be, grabbing my helmet, strapping on. And we're probably, other than locking up here, one last look at the garden and everything, we're set.
Okay. Once you get out on the road, you said you're about how far out?
Probably no more than 5 or 6 miles. It's probably a halfway point between, what most people would call the outskirts. It's a little past that, but not nearly quite as far as where I know the recluse to be.
Gotcha. All right. So you get about 2.5 miles out, about halfway there.
Okay.
And down the road, you see a younger guy. Just at a glance from the distance, you would guess him to be probably in about his maybe mid-20s, perhaps early 30s. That is hoofing it down the road. It's like that gas station that you were talking about.
Yeah.
He is heading towards that gas station, and hot on his heels is a pack.
Okay. All right. So when we say hot on his heels, how hot? Give me an eyeball's distance here.
He's got a shotgun in his hand, and he is running at pretty much a full clip, and occasionally turning and spinning and just firing as he goes. But he's sprinting, and these things are probably maybe 15 feet behind him.
Okay.
And there's probably 7 in this pack, mostly wolves, but spot a German Shepherd and a Rottweiler in the mix as well.
Okay. So I'm still gunning the go-kart when I notice this, and I reach down, feeling for my pistol, and poor guy's probably gonna think I'm aiming right at him. But I'm driving, but I've got one hand like this, and I'm I unload like 2 or 3, and I'm intentionally aiming to like the left of the guy, but toward the pack. And as I get up there, I just kind of whip the car, and I'm like, hop on the back now.
All right. So, this sounds to me like it's maybe make a moral stand.
Okay.
So that would be a rising move if you
Okay.
choose to go that route. Now, a falling move, if you are going that way, it would be condemn. Or actually, no, lash out when you wish to resolve a conflict using violence.
Sure. I'm gonna do the rising. There'll be time for lashing out later. Right now, it's like this guy needs help and hop on. Let's get out of here, dude. So
Okay.
I'll do the moral stand.
All right, so you're going to roll instinct and then add or subtract whatever you have there.
All right. So +1 for rising.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I got a 9. 4 and a 4 +1, so 9.
Okay, so that means that you do succeed, but it wasn't high enough for you to narrate the outcome, so that falls to me.
Okay.
You will get let's see, +1 arc.
All right.
So you basically pull up on these things, you start firing wildly, and you're able to clip 2 of the dogs.
Okay.
1 wolf, 1 dog. And as you're coming by, you're holding out your hand for this guy to get on with you, right?
Yep. This guy, toss him on back. He can stand and hold on.
He spots you, grabs hold of your hand, whips himself up onto the cart, and you've got him. And he says, "Listen, I've got something really important in that gas station back there. If you can get me over there, I can run in and grab it really quick. It's going to help us both out. Thanks for the assist, but I got to get back in there. It's just too heavy for me to just tote around."
You're crazy, kid. You see that pack? We got all of 3 seconds to get out of here.
Yeah, I know, but we can clear that pack if I can get at it.
Okay, and then at this point, he's Ford's just like, "Fuck!" and he just guns it and heads toward the gas station. Not even sure why he's doing it, but he's just going to go with it.
Okay.
He's clearly upset about it, though.
All right.
Why am I doing this?
So you race over there, and at this point, you rolled basically against survival at this point. So that one has been resolved, at least for this particular arc. However, we do still have the pack to deal with. So I am going to ask for a plot point here.
Okay.
And since Clint is not with us right now, I'm going to have Clint tell me how this resolves. My goal is to get inside the gas station, retrieve what it is that I'm looking for, which just so happens to be a flamethrower. And basically, I want to confront this pack.
Gotcha. So how far? I think as you are pulling up to the gas station, you just lean down and yell at Ford, slow down enough so that I can get in. You've been in the gas station before, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Just slow down enough and then circle back around in a minute. So you pull down to the gas station right in front of the door, and as you get to the front door, you slow down enough, and Sean jumps off and does a roll, jumps up, and goes through the door. Closes it behind him, and then you pull up. The pack is clawing at the door because they know that you are in there, and they know that they can't get to Ford in the go-kart car. So that gives you time, as you've got the door locked, barricaded behind you. You get the fire.
All right.
Get the torch ready.
I'll need to roll for this to see whether or not this is going to work.
I hope it does.
All right, so I got 9, and let's see here. -1, so that is a... Oh, wait, is that right? It's protect myself. So yeah, that would be a -1, but I get a +1 when rising, but I'm not rising yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me a 8. So I do succeed.
Gotcha.
But you get to narrate the outcome.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Gotcha. So you get the flamethrower ready. And as you get the pack, the fuel pack on your back, you light it with a lighter from your pockets. You get the little flame pilot light ready, and you're looking around, waiting for him to come back, and you can hear him coming. And as he just drives as close as he can to the dogs to try to pull them away, distract them, and he does that enough so that they turn and they start to chase him. And as you do that, you kick open the door, and they hear you, and they turn around, and you just look at them and go, "Bring it on, fellas." And you get away from the gas station because you don't want to set the pumps on fire, so you stand in front of the pumps so that you're between the pumps, the gas station. The dogs are you're in between the dogs and the gas station, and you just start to torch them. And you're gonna have roasted dog tonight for dinner. And you, Ford, are just slowly circling, watching this fall out in a little bit of awe, going, "Why haven't I ever thought of that before?"
All right, so we got a bunch of toasted dogs laying about. And I kind of wave you over, Ford, and say, "Listen, man, thanks for the save. I wasn't sure I was going to make it. This thing's really fucking heavy. I really should take it with me, but I just can't tote it around everywhere." Name's Sean, by the way.
Look, friend, they call me Ford, but you don't need to know that because you need to hightail it out of here.
I do, but can I ask you a question?
Make it quick.
Listen, I think that I know where this all started. Years ago. The rabid dogs.
Who are you, friend?
Sorry, Sean Marshall.
Okay.
What
is it you know?
My dad was military. He worked with the CDC at one point. And I have heard rumors from other folks, guys that he worked with, that the CDC here in town was where it all started. And if you're from here, you know that the military has locked this place down. Right? You've seen it.
Been that way for a while now.
Somebody inside there knows something and possibly has the key to putting an end to all of this. And I don't know why it hasn't happened yet, but I need to get to the bottom of it. I need to find out why we're still living like this when somebody could potentially put the kibosh on this. I've got somebody that I'm pretty sure lives here locally that might know just as much as my dad, maybe even more. And it's my uncle. His name's John Marshall. You may not know him, but you may know of him. He's a survivalist type, guy that lives out on his own. I'm not sure where, but I've heard that he lives somewhere close by. If I know the stories from my dad well enough, he's set up a compound of some sort, and he stays off by himself and probably is not very welcoming of trespassers. You heard of anybody like this?
What did you say your last name was?
Marshall.
And that would make your daddy
Steve.
Yeah, boy. I know of your Uncle John. I know that he is one that does not like to be trifled with. And I know that he hasn't taken visitors in many years. Now, I don't know where you heard the name Marshall, or if you are who you say you are. I have many questions about how you know all of this. But the only thing that matters right now is living. And the longer we stand here talking, the more chances that there's going to be another angrier pack coming down the road any minute. So, you bring your little flamethrower and hop on the back. I've got to get to town. And maybe I can put us in touch with some people who might know a little bit more about what you're talking about. But then you get on your merry little way. Sound good?
Do you know where his compound is?
Well, anybody who's been around here long enough knows where traps are out in the desert. Don't know exactly where he's located out there, but it's dangerous, son. He set himself up pretty good, and ain't nobody seen him in I don't know how. So he might not even be out there anymore. But yeah, I know where the fences and the traps and everything else that your uncle has laid about is hidden. People don't go out there unless they want to get hurt.
Look, all I'm asking, if you can help me, is for you to get me to that compound. Listen, you do this for me, the flamethrower is yours. Because once I get to that compound, I probably won't need the flamethrower anymore. John's probably got him stacked to the gills.
You think he's got some flamethrowers in there, do you?
If not flamethrowers, something else that'll do just as much damage.
Well, I offered to take you away from here and away from him and all the danger out in this desert, and offered to take you to town, and you insist on going out there. Well, if it gets you off of my nerves and gets me a flamethrower, then let's go.
It's a deal. All right, so at this point, you and Sean make your way into town with no further incident other than another roving pack that happens to kind of be circling the school. But the snipers up on the roof make short work of the group of dogs that are on the outside. So you're able to get in without being accosted. Make the trade. They've got 3 boxes of rifle ammunition for you, and you're free to go if you want, or if there's something you want to discuss here, we can do that.
I'll say to kind of after we've dropped everything off and everything, I'll say to Sean, now, this is your last chance. We can go talk to my friend Bill or some other folks here and see about, I don't know, putting you in touch with someone that can help you with the CDC, I guess. Maybe there are answers out there, but you got to understand, most of us are just trying to survive. Are you sure you want to go out there?
I gotta know.
Well, off we go. So, traded off dropped off all the food and got the boxes of ammo. There's nothing else I need to do other than to get this fellow where he needs to be so I can be done with it.
All right. So we make the trek out to where the compound is. You said that you knew where all the traps were.
I know rumors, and I know where people have said they've gotten hurt.
John, tell me a little bit more about the compound.
Compound is kind of sits out by itself, so that there's no natural barriers around it, so that I can see people coming from all areas. Like I said, there is a moat pretty much around it, a dry moat that has, wood spikes and stuff like that in it. So if anything jumps in it, they're probably going to impale themselves. The only way into the compound is a drawbridge that is up. There are posts, telephone poles, in various places around the area with speakers on them, and they are loudly, as you guys would pull up, be playing Ride of the Valkyries extremely loudly, distractingly loud, and you'll see some traps that have been sprung that have dead carcasses of dogs, wolves, whatever, that have tried to get into it. And you really, there is a road that leads into it. And you would probably know, Ford, that the road is the safest way to go in. That the road itself is not booby-trapped, but everything off to the sides is. And the compound just, probably 12-foot stucco walls with barbed wire on the top of it. And, the compound itself, probably, I'd say probably at least 3 acres on the inside of the walls. It's large. He did not originally live there. Whoever lived there originally, you don't know exactly what happened to them, but he hasn't now.
Okay.
As we're driving, Sean addresses you, Ford. He says, "Hey, I couldn't help but notice that when I said my name, there was a certain recognition there. And you seemed pretty quick to know who my Uncle John was. Are you telling me everything? Have you actually met John?"
I can honestly say I have never met your uncle. But I did know your dad.
What?
We served. Yeah, I know. Small world, right? We served together in the war. Now that's all I'm comfortable telling you. But I know a little bit about your uncle from everything your dad told me. So I've known for a long time, ever since I've been out here, not to mess with John.
Wait a minute. What's your last name?
Masters.
Holy shit. No, Dad spoke extremely highly of you.
Did he now?
Yeah, he did.
Interesting.
Said that you always had his back out in the field.
Well, as much as I could, and he always had mine.
I mean, so much so that he called you his brother.
You were brothers of a sort. You serve with a man, he's your brother. Listen, I don't mean to pry into your family, but some of the things that your dad told me about your uncle, you know, even if he's out here, he might not be all here. You know this?
No, I know.
And you know if he is out here, there's a reason that he has survived as long as he has.
Oh, I know that.
People around here think he's a cold-blooded killer. All the best. I don't know, but I know what your daddy told me, and I know the man can survive. I don't think he's a killer, but the more people that leave him alone, the better. What is it you think he can give you?
I'm hoping information, at least. And maybe he might be able to get me in.
Get you into the building?
Yeah.
The heavily guarded building that's guarded all the time by the soldiers that brought this war upon us. You think he might be able to get you in there?
If anybody could do it, my dad could. But Dad's not with us anymore. So he's the next best thing.
You know, I did have your daddy's back on more than one occasion. He had mine. I don't want any part of what you're intending to do, but I would at least like to pay my respects to John, never having met him. So, if you're okay with company, I'll go with you on this, frankly, asinine journey.
As long as you can get me to John, I'm happy.
See what we can do. I'll start to roll forward the rest of the way up the road, real slow, like kind of eyes peeled, you know.
All right, so you hear Ride of the Valkyries in the distance, and it is blasting. The closer you get, the more loud it gets, to the point of being disturbing at the volume that it's playing. John, how far out are you able to scope?
Oh, I know you're coming. If that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, how do you know?
I have like if you come up the road, there is a trigger under the road that is, if anybody crosses it, sends off an alarm inside the house.
All right, so the alarm goes off.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I go to my sentry post.
Okay.
Which is, I go through a tunnel underneath the moat, and I come out at a little place right outside. It's underground. It's just a little slit in the ground. I have my rifle with me, long range sniper, and then I also have a couple handguns with me. And there is a little spot off to probably maybe about 100 feet away from the road that it's an underground little cavern. I can see what's going on as people come up to the front. And From there, I have complete control of everything. You know, I can turn the music off. I can turn the music on. I have an intercom system that I can speak over the speakers, and I can lower the gate from that point as well.
Okay. All right. So you see, tearing down the road, this tricked out golf or go-kart. It's got a driver and a passenger on it. Older guy, and to your age, a younger kid. Seems to be, maybe in his mid-20s.
How far out have you been out of town, Ford?
I have probably been as far as out as I could hear Rider the Valkyries and probably turned around at that point. You know what I mean? I've probably been wandered out that far before.
Gotcha.
Or past that.
Because if you'd gone somewhere close, I probably had seen you before, but okay. I would think. So
it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. The couple times I've had to wander out that far for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Valkyrie's probably served its purpose, kept people away.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to allow these two outsiders to get to your gate?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. As we're approaching the gate, and rather slowly, I kind of stop the cart, and I'm like, listen, we can hear this, we can see this. Let's get out and do our best to make it known that we are not here for bad intentions. And he starts to get out of the car, and he's starting to raise his hands up as he walks toward the thing. He turns around and looks at oh my God, I just blanked. I'm hearing Marshall. Sean,
yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was gonna say I had Marshall stuck in my head. He turns and he looks at Sean. He's like, come on now, boy, get your hands up, let's go.
All right, I put him up. I take the flamethrower off my back.
Yep.
Leave it in the cart.
Yeah.
But and the shotgun as well, I place in the cart. Now I've got 2 pistols that are hidden elsewhere.
And I'm open carrying the one that's been on my head that I had, shooting. I'm open carrying it, but that's all I've got on me other than my hands. So
okay.
Kind of walking up to the gate and looking around, looking for anything, a doorbell, something, anything.
Are there cameras out here or no?
None that you can see.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. How far away are you from the gate?
Probably 20 feet.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's incredible.
Gotcha. Are you just standing there?
No, slowly approaching. If he's standing, I walk past him and I
about
Okay,
about 5 feet in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
A bullet hits the ground in front of you.
Okay.
and
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I reach out and grab him by the shirt and pull him back. Get out! And pull him backwards, leaving the hands up, and kind of covering up.
We mean no harm,
Right,
John Marshall.
Just start waving. Please don't shoot. We don't want no trouble.
Another shot, about 5 feet in front of you.
John, no harm.
Those were over. The music stops. Those were your warning shots. Get the hell out of here. Music starts up again.
John, my name is Sean Marshall. I'm your nephew. I know you've heard about me.
I don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here.
And while that's been going on, I've been slowly backing up to the go-kart, and I'm starting to get in it. I'm like, Sean, come on. He wants to be left alone. Let's go.
John, I know you know something about the cure. It started here, and you know it. We can stop this.
Music stops. Who are you again?
It's your nephew, Sean.
I don't have a nephew.
You have you had a brother, Steve. It's my dad.
That's a name I haven't heard in ages. He's been dead forever. As soon as he joined the military, he was a dead man.
You were the guy that trained him.
Didn't train him to join the fucking military. Trained him to take care of himself. Answer to himself, not answer to other people.
You got a bone to pick with the military? So do I. Because they're
Probably
the ones.
Some military brat yourself.
No, I'm not. That's what Dad wanted from me, and I chose not to go that route. I'm more like you than you realize. All I want to do is talk.
Just go away. Go away. I don't want to hear anything from you. Go away.
All right, so I think you're a conflict.
I think I am too.
I'm going to roll against Find the Cure because I really firmly believe that you are my key to getting in.
Gotcha.
Whoa, where'd my dice go? Come back.
You rolled too hard.
All right. So I'm rising. So that is going to be a rising roll, and I want to make a moral stand, which gives me a +2. And I got a 7, which just barely cleared it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm rolling against you.
Okay.
If you choose to concede, that gives you a +1 arc.
Okay. And if I don't choose to concede,
you get nothing.
You lose. Good day, sir.
I got to stay true to my character. He is not going to concede.
Okay.
You want to talk?
That's all I want to do.
Drop all your guns. Put them next to that post that speaker's on right there next to you.
I'd reach in, take the 2 guns, put them on the post.
Your friend, too. Tell him to get over there. Put his guns there, too.
Now, Mr. Ford, or sorry, Mr. That's me, Mr. Marshall. My guns stay with my property. You see this on my hip? I'll be leaving it here on the car, right here. Down.
You just get over with your buddy then.
Okay, I'll walk over there. I still got the hands up though. I don't know about all this.
Okay. As soon as you guys get off the road onto the sand over next to that post,
Mm-hmm.
You are ensnared in a net
God.
that the pulley is hidden from behind the post
Uh-huh.
and pulls you guys up about 5 feet off the ground.
All right.
And you are both trapped in that net.
Okay.
And yeah, right as I'm going up, I'm going, son of a bitch! I knew I should have just dropped you off.
Come on, John. Let us down.
You see, as you're twirling around, because you're both, it's whirling around and everything. About 100 yards away, you see something push out of the ground, and you see this guy in tactical armor, rifle, guns on his hip, start walking towards you, and that rifle is pointed right at you guys. And you hear over the speakers, I sure as hell hope you guys weren't lying about those guns, because if you did, you just sealed your fate, and you'll be dog food.
Oh, no lies told here. Now, come on, now, cut me down.
I walk towards it. So I'll walk up to your guns and empty the chambers. There's clips. I'll put them in my pockets. So, now that I have your attention, what in God's tarnation made you think that you could come out here and bother me with this nonsense?
All right, we are going to move into the next chapter at this time, so everybody gets a plot point.
Cool.
And don't forget, you can spend a plot point at any point to switch your arc, create a conflict so you can make a move, or take narrative control if you so desire.
I'm waiting for an answer, gentlemen.
Look, John, I know there's no love lost between you and my dad, and I get it. He went a completely different route. He went a completely different path than the path that you were on.
There ain't no love lost. He chose his path. He went where he thought he could do the most good. He was wrong.
And what are you doing, John?
I've got my own path.
And
what your paths involve tying people up in nets here and not letting us down? Come on now.
When it's necessary, yes, it does.
And what feels necessary about this?
I've got 2 interlopers on my property that one of them claims to be my nephew that I didn't know I had, and I have no idea who the hell you are, sir.
Well, I will make this easy for you. You can have 1 interloper on your property. Just let me down, and I will get the hell out of here.
But then you're going to leave the other interloper behind.
You two sound like you have stuff to work out.
You're the one that brought him out here. You're involved.
Son of a bitch.
Look, he has nothing to do with this. He just brought me out here because I asked around. He was somebody that I found that knew who you were and knew how to get me out here.
And? So what do you want? Why are you bothering your uncle that you've never met before?
Because, John, like it or not, you knew as much as my dad did about the CDC, about the military. And even though Dad went the route of the military and support of the CDC, you were on the other side of that coin. You questioned things. You believed in conspiracies that Dad didn't believe in. And those conspiracies that you believed in have now come to pass. So you were right, John. And Dad was a smart dude. But you are wily. And you're sharp. And regardless of how people view you outside of these walls, you're just as smart as he is, if not smarter.
Flattery ain't gonna get you anywhere, boy. You're dead.
For speaking up, saying it's not flattery. I knew your father. He was a good man. But you look at what you've built out here. You clearly know what you're doing. Now, your nephew wants help, and he's your family. Just let him down and let him talk to you.
You want help doing what?
I need to get in to the CDC.
Ain't nobody gonna get in that place, boy. I've been trying to figure out for years how to get into that place.
That's what I said.
And you haven't been able to do it yet, have you?
No. They got that place locked down. Ain't no way we're gonna get in there.
Exactly what I said.
No, ain't no way you're going to get in there by yourself.
Ain't no way we gonna get in there.
You and I, together, could get it done.
I don't know you from Adam, boy. Yeah, you might be my brother's child, and if you are, you probably got some lick of sense to you. But damn, I don't know you. I don't know your background. I don't know what you're capable of.
Everything Dad was capable of, everything you taught him, he taught me.
Well, if that's the truth, hate to tell you, Mr. Marshall, but the boy's capable of hell of a lot.
Boy's capable of conning some man to drive him 10 miles out in the desert and get trapped in a net 5 feet off the ground. That's all I've seen him be capable of so far.
Well, I don't suppose that would have happened to us with your help.
You ain't going away, are you, boy?
Nope.
And even if I was to take my go-kart and drive back to town, you'd stay out here, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Off the gun. I'd get ready if I were you. Pull the trigger, shoot the rope holding the net. You guys fall to the ground.
Okay.
Get rid of my oh, God. I hit right on my chest.
Any broken bones?
I don't think so.
I seem to be all in one piece.
Good. I turn around. I start walking. Drawbridge starts dropping. Grab your shit and get in here quick.
Yeah.
All right, so we grab our stuff, head on inside.
Yeah, I just grabbed the pistol. We'll leave the go-kart out front.
Get the go-kart in here.
Oh, all right. Hop in, fire it up, drive it slowly on in.
All right. Inside, you'll see there's a large courtyard. A main building that's obviously a house. There's a garage, some sort of workshop, a green garden, and then also about 5 cages that have dogs in them.
Are they rabid?
They're rabid, yes, but they're not trying to get out.
What are the dogs for?
Before this all happened, I liked dogs. Now, I keep them around, see what they do a little testing every now and then, even though I'm not really a scientist, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing. See if I can train them. See if I can gain their trust.
How's that going for you?
Not well.
That's perfectly timed.
Yeah. They stay calm for the most part. I feed them. They like that. I can't let them out of the cage. they don't like that. So I've tried it a couple times, been able to get them back in. Had to kill a couple of them. So I caught a couple more. But anymore, I just sedate them when I need to get around, and that seems to work.
Dad talked a lot about your love for animals, especially dogs.
Yeah. What else did he say about me?
These were yours, weren't they?
But they knew their parents were.
That's why you keep them around, right?
Yep. I just say they're German Shepherds.
He said you had a certain way with them. That as much as you pushed against humankind, you embraced the dogs. You embraced the canines. They were your friends. They were your family.
Yeah. He would be right about that.
Wouldn't you like to have that again?
Whoever did this started something I don't think they can stop. Only way to do it possibly might be to kill every single dog out there. And then it's probably going to move on to something else.
What do you know about the CDC locally?
As soon as it started happening, they put up walls, they put up fences, they got lights, they got military there 24/7. You got it. They don't let nobody in and out of that place that they don't want in and out of that place.
You might have been locked up back here for quite some time, but you're not wrong about that. Everybody in town knows to stay away from there.
I go out and check it out every once in a while, see what's changed.
It really is just you out here. There's no one else out here, huh?
Nope. Just me. That's all I need.
Looking around. Son of a bitch.
John was prepping for this way before it happened.
Not very many, but there are people that saw things like this coming.
There's somebody inside. I know there is. That has the answer to this.
Sure there is. What does it matter? You think they're gonna be able to flip a magic switch and all this is gonna go away? We're tits deep into this, boy. Nothing's gonna change it.
What if we could?
And how do you think we should go about that?
We go in, we find the guy who is probably there against his will, and we give him the opportunity to fix this.
You think he has just something ready that he can just change everything?
Well, maybe not just ready, but in the right circumstances, in the right place, maybe with the right resources, he might be able to make it happen. But I think, like you, I think that the military, for some reason, did this intentionally.
You were most likely not wrong about that. Some of the things we saw from the folks in charge were questionable at best. Listen, I came out here initially to speak against this cockamamie idea you got. But the more you talk about your dad, the more you talk about how confident you are that there's some sort of answer in that building, look, let's just say neither your daddy nor me did all the right things when we served. Some things I regret to this day. But I had your daddy's back and he had mine. And I am starting to think that we owe it not just to him or ourselves, but to all the people who are tired of living like this. If there is an answer in that building, we should try to find it.
Dr. Niles Chambers.
What?
Follow me.
I'll follow.
We go inside the house and we go into the house has got papers and files and just crap all over the place. There's computer equipment. You see a wall of televisions that have cameras on them showing the outside of the house and the estate and everything, the dogs, and and then we go back into a room and there is a huge wall that's just got people, pictures, names, places, lines, and in the center you see Dr. Niles Chambers.
So this is the guy.
Yep. He's the one that probably started it all. They brought him in about 6 months before all this started to the facility out there. Some sort of mission he was doing to create some sort of super weapon. That's what they were saying, but I was hearing at least through my network. And I don't think they did it intentionally because they wanted to use it. I think they were just trying to create dogs they could control or something like that. Hell, I don't know. Maybe they wanted, to create dogs that could speak, dogs that they could send them and, attack things remotely without sending humans in. I don't know what their reasoning behind it was, but they did it and it got out of control. Something happened. Maybe somebody whatever they did is communicable. Maybe humans spread it to the dogs. I don't know. But that guy right there, he's the one who did it. And he has not left that base since this shit started. So there's your man.
So how do we get in?
I ain't even able to figure out a way to get in.
But weak spots.
Weak spot is going to get you caught just a little bit later.
What if we could expose a weak spot and ensure that they're too busy to catch us? Track with me here a second. I've got my friend Bill down at the high school. Whole number of people out there that work with each other to try to survive this mess. What if we were to, say, start a little protest, a little riot, a little Donnybrook? If we start it close enough to the building that the soldiers come, keep everybody at bay, and perhaps we sneak in unnoticed.
So you want to endanger other people?
I thought about that, yes. Now, we would have to talk to them and see what the safest way to go about this would be. But I do believe there is strength in numbers. We may not be able to do something just the three of us, but if we have a whole slew of people doing different jobs, we just might get through. It takes some talking, some politicking, but might be able to find the right souls brave enough to try something like that.
So what are you thinking? The folks at the high school?
Well, yeah, they're the ones that they're the ones that set up our perimeters, and that's where the snipers on top of most of the buildings are based out of. I figure if we can just get a handful of them, enough to raise enough of a ruckus, well, should be able to do it without too much bloodshed. Maybe some fighting, but
They got some quality sharpshooters, John. We had a whole pack surrounding the place when we went in earlier. And they took them out with no problems. We had a clear path in there.
All right, hold on. Show you something. Follow me.
All right.
Go back into the room with all the TVs.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down. You need some water or something. There's
Water would be nice.
All right. Just watch the cameras. Go over. Flick a couple switches on the audio. The right of the dock rise drops. Can't hear anything. Just watch. Don't
All
take
right.
maybe
Sounds
5-10 minutes.
Sounds to me like you might be taking control of the narrative here. So
Maybe, I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can. Do I need to do a plot point for that?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Do a plot point. Just sit down and watch. It's going to take about 5-10 minutes. As you see that, you start seeing dogs start coming up all over the place, coming around, and they're just going crazy trying to get into this place. A couple of them jump into the moat even, kill him, so they just go crazy. Then you see what's happening, boys?
yeah, why?
Walk over, flick a switch, and they start to lose focus. The dogs do. Don't necessarily go away right away. They just lose focus. I turn Rise of the Valkyries back on. So it'll take about an hour and they'll lose interest. Then they'll be gone.
Was it the music that did that?
No music you can hear. Just on a high frequency human ears can hear. It's a call. They can hear it. They can hear it for miles. They'll come running. You want some sort of distraction at the CDC? We get some speakers set up. I got put it on your little go-kart out there. I got a van I can put it on top of. We just drive around and we pull those dogs into the CDC. That'll be our distraction. We don't have to use humans.
well, I suppose the fewer lives we endanger, the better. So, can't say as I'm opposed to that plan.
Now we just got to find a way in.
That's when we take advantage of that weak spot.
It's just that I ain't never been able to find a weak spot.
Then I guess we got to keep our eyes peeled.
You ever been out there, Ford?
Not exactly. I mean, I've been around just to get the lay of the land. I don't know. Once they're busy dealing with the dogs, you've got the tactical gear you're wearing. Do you have more of that? I mean, if so,
You sure are funny.
if so, there's a chance we may not need a weak spot at all. Maybe we just walk in. You look like the enemy, you know. Everything's going crazy with the dogs. Nobody knows what's happening. Everybody's focused. All they see is people in similar tactical gear. Maybe we just waltz in.
Oh, I got plenty of gear. I'm sure I can find some that'll fit you boys. I just don't think, it's not like when there's a bunch of rabid dogs running around and just going to open up the gate and welcome people in.
You said you got a van.
Yeah.
Can we rig it to just drive through the fence?
See why not, unless there's some reason you're opposed, Mr. Marshall.
No, I'm not. I'm not in love with that man whatsoever. I guess. Yeah, I'm sure we can rig something up. Keep those speakers and draw those dogs inside for them. Just have to be careful of ourselves.
That is one thing that concerns me now. I mean, we are going to be putting ourselves right smack in the middle of danger, however we decide to go about this. We don't know for sure that the answers are going to be in this building. This chamber seems like a great lead, but I hate to see something happen to one of us.
He's there. He's either there or he's dead.
Well, listen, you've got the tactical smarts, the advantages, knowledge that we need. I'll take point. We run into anything shady, I'll take the brunt of it. Y'all two hightail it out of here. But I'm thinking that walking right in is maybe going to be our best bet if we don't have time to scope out another weak point or get other people involved. I mean, it may just be our best hope.
Okay, with that, you do you.
Thank you, John. Dad was right. There is a heart beating under that facade of stone.
There ain't no heart here. That's been gone a long time ago, boy. Anything you're seeing as a heart is me just wanting this shit show to end.
Good enough. Let's suit up.
No time like the present.
All right. So this will move us on to chapter 3, the test, where we explore the situation, run into conflict, make friends and enemies until a character goes into the cave. So we get another plot point. All right. So we'll fast forward to getting back into Albuquerque. We got the van set up, and when we arrive, we see the CDC building that has been fortified like a prison. There are 2 gates, two fences, chain link about 12 feet tall with barbed wire running around the top and also around the bottom to basically prevent, animals from trying to dig under the fence. There are 2 gates that come out the driveway, and then there's a back entrance as well that has 2 gates entering in through the back. The CDC building is a 3-story building that basically takes up about half of a block in downtown Albuquerque. So how are we going to rig this van to drive through?
Brick on the gas pedal. Tie off the steering wheel so it drives straight.
Now, you're not either rising or falling at this point, correct?
I am still flat.
Okay. I think you would probably be looking at either lashing out or making a moral stand, or possibly satiate if you want to stay. I mean, you're not going to stay flat. You're going to go one way or the other.
Yeah. But, I would say probably lash out.
Okay.
That gives me my instinct points.
It would get you instinct points either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I would say. That's a 6 plus my 2 instinct gets me an 8.
Okay. All right. So you rig up the van and it careens into, are we going front side or back side?
I would say front side, and if we're kind of, before we do this, I may want to take a step back and say, since this is in the city, we may want to stop by and tell your friends don't be bringing a lot of dogs in the area, and they probably need to stay inside tonight.
Yeah, we'll make that call. Probably from your place. We'll just, I'm sure you've got a ham radio.
Oh yeah, I was listening to you two talk. So.
Then are we going to try to go in the back while they're focused on the front gates?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Does your little go-kart hold 3?
Oh yeah, I mean 2 could stand on the back. It ain't gonna be comfortable, but
Gotcha.
Might slow us down just a hair. But yeah, 2 could stand on the back of there just fine.
Gonna grab some bolt cutters.
Yep. Bolt cutters and lots of bullets and ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so with your roll, the van, you've got it aimed at the front gate. You got the sound going so that only the dogs can hear. We start seeing them gather.
Yep.
And we've got the go-kart set up pretty much right next to the van. And you hit the pedal to the metal, drive the van through, and as that's going, we hop on board, or you hop on board the go-kart, and we head around towards the back. The van crashes through the gates and keeps going until it hits the front of the CDC. There's a guard shack out there that has got a couple of guards in it that are shooting at the van as it is careening through. But since there's no driver, it continues on its path. and runs into the front of the building, and you can hear the tires screeching once it comes to a halt there. And gunfire continues as we head around to the back of the building. I grab the bolt cutters and start chipping away at the fence on the backside and the razor wire that's at the bottom so that we get a clear path in there and cut an opening so that we can just squeeze through without getting hurt and get us inside the back. The building itself has got several entrances along the backside, each of which are obviously locked. So now we've got the issue of trying to get into the building itself.
Being the survivalist I am, I'm sure I would have anticipated something like this and possibly would have a little C4 on me to blow locks.
Okay. So this is you want to create a conflict?
Sure, why not?
All right. So that gives you the ability to narrate the outcome.
Okay, I just look at you guys and go. You may want to step back a little bit. Reach down into one of the pockets on my pants, pull out this tube. Take a little bit out, slap it on there. Take out of the other pocket this like little contraption. Stick 2 wires in it. Make sure it's plugged against the wall. And turn around and say, I thought I told you to stand back. And I just start walking away. Have a little button in my hand. Go, about 20 feet away. So you may want to turn around for this. Turn around, press the button.
And make the roll. And this will be, since you're falling, that's a lash out. So instinct.
That is a 7 plus my 2, so that is a 9.
All right.
And so you hear this explosion, a little crackle, and just a little bit of debris, not a lot, but enough. It hits the back of your legs and things like that. You turn around, and there's a hole where the door lock used to be, about that big. I go, okay, let's go. Walk up to the door, kick it open, and we're in.
You get another -1 on your arc. And you get a plot point.
Yay!
All right, so that obviously created a lot of noise. I think we're going to move on into the next chapter, which will be the ordeal. Because I think we have now entered the cave at this point. This is the greatest challenge in the story and will rise to glory or fall to tragedy until a character will take the road back. Once we get inside, we can hear down the hallway footsteps quickly coming in our direction. There is just a single hallway here with a couple of doors on either side that look like they go to just individual offices.
Going to take one of the doors, See if it'll open.
Yep, it's unlocked.
Open it, stand behind it.
Okay. I'm going to go into the office directly across the hall from yours. Are you keeping the door open?
Yeah.
Okay, same.
Okay. And I will, let's see, we're in like a hallway, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm headed like a little bit backwards from where those two offices are, just where I, like right behind the wall, and I can peek around the corner down the hall of which the footsteps are approaching, so I can cover like the middle between the doors that you guys have open.
Okay. So I'm sorry. Say again. Are you outside still?
Outside in this hallway, not in an office. You mean? When you say outside?
Yeah, well, I mean, are you outside the building or in the hallway itself?
Oh no, I'm in the hall itself. Just like, is there like a corner that corners into the hallway, or how does this?
You spend a plot point, and you can create some sort of barrier for yourself.
Okay, let's do that. That'll work. Okay. All right. Yeah. So okay. So that's what we'll do. I will reach for some sort of debris. Some of these are like offices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's some sort of desk nearby, I'm assuming.
Okay.
So that's getting tipped over, and I'm ducked down behind it in the openness of that hallway there. So I can see your two doors that you guys are behind, and I'm ducked down behind this desk.
Okay. The hallway's about 10 feet wide, so fairly wide. Down at the end of the hall, you see two soldiers that one goes immediately across to the opposite side of the hall. Another one comes around the corner and is pointing a rifle down the hall. The other guy does the same on the opposite end. So you get two guys peering down and looking directly down the hallway. The smoke is just now clearing in the area where the C4 went off.
So this might be, I don't know. So this would be like a protect self, but I'd fire like cover fire essentially. Just like I'm not standing up behind the desk and actually taking aim. I'm just lifting the gun up, just popping a couple rounds off to try to distract them and get attention.
Okay, sure. So this is you can go survival here.
Survival. Okay. All right. Good deal. Ooh. Oh boy, 6.
Okay, all right. Okay, so the conflict is not resolved and is still in play.
All right.
The character player receives a -1 arc.
Okay. So it takes me back to 0 on flat then.
You can never go back to flat. You actually go to -1 now.
Oh, it just goes straight down to -1. Okay, yep. So now I am now falling then? And
yes, you are now falling.
Okay, yep. Got it. Okay, got it. All right, cool. Okay.
Okay, so you take a couple of shots in that general direction there, which draws their attention specifically to whatever or whoever is behind that desk, and they light that desk up. Now, fortunately, it is taking the brunt of the damage, so you're not hit by that, but they for sure know you are there, and they are just lighting that thing up at this point. So, John, now you and I have a new conflict on the board. Which is now not survival, but it is probably rescue forward.
Sure, fine.
And I'm going to roll satiate on that, which is just taking care of a need. I feel like I need to do that. It's not protect self, because I'm not really protecting myself. I'm trying to protect him.
Right.
So that is an instinct, which I'm rising, so that gives me a +1. All right, that gives me a 10. Would you like to roll as well or no?
I'm going to hold off, and I'm gonna
technically, I guess, since I did that first, I'm solving that.
I'm gonna wait. I would have waited to see what was that, because I've got something in my head that I would wait before I acted.
Okay. So you look across the hall as this is happening. You hear the gunfire. You see the table getting lit up, and you peer across the hall. You meet eyes with Sean, and Sean pops around the corner with a 45, and just pow, pow, and then comes right back behind, and you hear thump, thump down the hallway, and the shooting stops.
Okay. Well, walk back out in the hallway, look down where the soldiers are.
And they're dead on the floor.
I turned, looked to Ford. I said, maybe we should hold back on shooting just a little bit. We're going to need somebody to take us to Dr. Chambers. So,
yeah, I'm not going to lie.
Probably need a hostage.
Not going to lie, that got a little panic there. Got a little panicked.
Yeah, saw that.
Looking around, checking myself for bullet holes. Like, oh, God. Okay.
You're okay, though?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm, all right. Let's move. We got to move. I'm going to start looking around. Like,
nice shot, nephew.
Learned it from my dad, who learned it from you.
Let's keep moving.
All right. So we're going to head down the hallway. There's a lot more gunfire now coming from the front of the building, but this cross hallway appears to be empty at this time. Again, in this cross hallway, there are numerous doors that line up and down. Further towards the front, you can see that there's like a large lobby, and inside that lobby, there are some elevators.
There a listing of office numbers and occupants?
We're going up to the lobby?
Yeah.
There is, yeah. And you do see Dr. Niles Chambers listed on there, and he's on the 3rd floor.
Where do you think they send people in case of emergency in this building?
I would imagine to the basement, don't you?
I think so too. I say we check out the basement first.
Sounds good. Elevator or stairs?
I suggest the stairs. Elevators can be turned off.
All right, lead on, Uncle John.
Do the little tactical stare. Every move I make is tactical. And head down the stairs.
Okay. So I'm going to find Niles Chambers on the board as a conflict here.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So we head down the stairs, get down to the basement level, stop at the door, and behind the door you can hear some chatter going on. It sounds like somebody talking over a walkie, trying to get a sit rep on what's going on outside. You hear a little bit of a response crackle in over the radio, saying that some idiot just drove through the front gates and has let a full pack of 20 or more canines onto the base. We're trying to deal with the situation right now, but we need people on the roof.
And I'm sorry, but where did this come from? Are we hearing this on the radio? Or?
Yeah, on the radio from behind the door, just at the base of the stairs, yeah.
Got it. Okay. If we can hear that and we know everybody's headed up to the roof, we don't know who's back there. Ford will kind of like walk up to the door and like really put his ear to it and like eyes thing and like point them to other directions to see if there's like maybe another way into that particular room, or to see if I can hear, more than just the voice that's on the radio. And then like as I'm doing that, like peek, like even get down and like try to peek, like, is there underneath the door? Can I see anything? A second set of feet, anything to let me know if there's only one person in there is that I can hear, or if there's, a room full of people.
Looking underneath the door, you can tell that it's a fairly large area. You do see probably 3 sets of feet within your vision, but you can't catch the whole room.
Sure thing.
For sure.
All right, now I'm whispering to them like, we've got multiples in here.
Now you pointed off to 2 areas to see, maybe if we might be able to find something there. Would you like to create something for us to find a different way in?
I'm so glad you asked. The plot points, you can introduce like an NPC, right?
NPC, you basically just take control of the narrative and you say what it is that we see, what it is that we find, anything like that. You just can't control what the other characters do.
What you do about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So when Sean peeks around, his corner, what you see down there is yet another long hallway, right? And it's like, almost intentionally similar to the one we were in up there. It's almost like this place is some kind of maze. And down toward the end, there's like a big set of double doors. And right when you peek around, those double doors burst open. And you see what looks to be a woman, if you had to guess, probably close to your age, Sean's age, where she is wearing a hospital gown. Mm-hmm. She is sweating profusely and barefoot, and she is running and headed your direction.
Okay. So I'm going to bring the gun up to her. Hold it right there. Shh, be quiet.
And yeah, she sees that and then like immediately hits the ground and like covers her head. She's like, God.
Shh. And I reach down and I put my hand over her mouth and I pull her up and bring her up to me and put my hand over there and snap twice to try to get John's attention.
You got John's attention.
All right. So I've got this chick in front of me that's in a hospital gown and barefoot. And I'm like, what do I do?
And while you're holding her, she's going, please, let me go, please.
I've got my hand over her mouth.
Oh, then in that case, she's going.
Just walk up to her. We're not going to hurt you.
She's breathing really.
Gonna grab Sean's hand. Don't scream. Okay.
Please, you gotta get me out of here.
We'll get you out of here. Where's Dr. Chambers?
I don't know who that is, but the man, there's a man, he's been working with me. There's others. I woke up and they're all down there. There, you gotta go do that.
What are you doing here?
I don't know. I woke up here and they poked me with needles and I was asleep and then I was awake and they said there were experiments and that I was part of them. I have no idea.
Shh. Calm down. You're gonna be okay. We'll get you out of here. You said there was a man.
He's still back there. He was talking to somebody on the radio and I woke up and I saw the door open and I just ran. I don't know where it is.
Okay. Go ahead. Is there an office next to? Is there an office door or something next to us?
In this particular hallway, yeah, similar to the one upstairs. Everything looks like a maze. So there's little offices just like the ones upstairs. All right.
Step into one of the offices and hide. You'll know when everything's okay. Okay? Where you said the man's down there, and I'm going down the hallway. What room? What room?
I don't know. It's a big room, like a surgery room. I ran from the left, I think.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Go hide. We'll take it. We'll protect you later. You'll be fine in the office. We'll be back.
All right. So what do we do, John?
Going down the hall to the left. Looking for a big room, surgery room.
Guns drawn and whatnot.
All right, so we head down that way. We kind of pass the area where the radio chatter was going on in that larger room, that central room there. That door is open. Kind of peek around quickly around the corner. Mm-hmm. And we do see 4 soldiers inside that room. Most of them are all on radios and shouting orders and trying to, again, just get an idea about what's going on upstairs. And they're distracted enough right now where we should be able to get past that area. Mm-hmm. So we move on down the hallway. And we do see a set of double doors down there that have a little window in each one of them. And if we look inside that window, we do see what she says was a kind of a little surgical arena, basically. Green tile and 3 different tables on the inside. 2 of which have what appear to be bodies, whether they're alive or dead, we don't know, and 1 that is empty. There is one man standing at a computer inside there, typing furiously, and he's got his back to the door.
Try to open the door.
Mm-hmm. It's a swinging door, so it opens pretty silently.
Open it. Dr. Chambers?
What is it?
What you doing?
Who are you?
That's not important. Why'd you start this?
What?
This. Everything. Why'd you start this?
You're not with the military.
Oh, no, well, we are not with the military.
Then who are you?
I said that's not important. Somebody that wants this to end. I think you're the person that can end it.
What are you doing here?
One of two things. Either breaking you out of here so that you can try to end this if you're here against your will, or if you're here working with the military, then we'll have to figure out another option. So, are you here against your will, or are you here voluntarily?
I was here voluntarily to begin with, but now, not so much.
We met a lovely lady a few minutes ago, says you've been running tests on people. What kind of tests?
The military brass seems to think that somewhere within the human DNA, there's a cure to all of this. They've found people that have been attacked, people that have been bitten, that have been able to fend off the contagion. But I don't think that the answer lies in humanity.
Where do you think it lies then?
Within the canines themselves.
What do you mean?
I've seen evidence of some canines, mostly dogs, that seem to be immune to the effect. They're few and far between. There are certain species that can fight it off.
How close are you to figuring all that out?
Not as close as I'd like to be, because they're not getting me the resources that I need.
What kind of resources you need?
The right animals. But finding them and finding them alive is the biggest issue. And they're not willing to go out to get them.
Well, this might be your lucky day then. You want to get the hell out of here?
I'd like nothing more.
Well, then my name's John Marshall. Nice to meet you, Dr. Chambers. Let's get you the hell out of here.
Ford reaches down and grabs the extra pistol on his ankle and kind of reaches out to the doc. Says, "You know how to use one of these?"
Not at all.
Or you're gonna want to point it, and you're gonna want to pull that. Let's go.
Just take it. So it's better that you keep this for it.
Whatever. We got to get moving now. Let's get the doctor out with us. Go back and collect that poor girl. See if we can get out of here unnoticed.
Sure.
All right, so who's taking point?
I'll take one.
All right, I think this is going to be a satiate, so instinct roll for you.
Okay. So that means...
And this is escape unnoticed.
Gotcha. So that means my instinct points won't count since I'm in the falling arc, right?
It's
They'll cancel each other out.
if it cancels each other out, then right,
Yeah.
then it's just a straight roll.
Yep. Pay for me, gentlemen.
Karma?
Oh, I rolled a 10.
Oh,
I got a 6 and a 4.
all right. So you get to narrate what happens, how we get out of there.
Right. So we will go back the way we came. When we get to the room that had those 4 gentlemen in it, we sneak past. I will look in. They are all zoomed in on their consoles, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to keep track of this mess. So just go, and we go one at a time past. When we get to the room that we told the lady to go in, and I'll to Sean, go get her. Sean will go in and get her, pull her out. She'll freak out a little bit when she sees Dr. Chambers, though.
Mm-hmm.
I just, it's gonna be okay. We're good. Rather than go up the stairs that we came in, I'll ask Dr. Chambers, is there a back set of stairs that leads towards the back door?
Yeah, down the hallway we just came from.
Gotcha. Okay, so we'll head that away, and we'll go towards the back stairs. And when we come up in that hallway, does it come up next to the door that we kind of blew open?
It comes up down the cross hallway on the right-hand side.
Gotcha. All righty. We will continue to just sit around. Basically, there's really no one around because they are all focused on the front lobby, trying to get the dogs and everything there. When we get to the 2 dead/wounded soldiers that Ford or that Sean killed, I'm gonna pat them down to see if anybody has keys on them.
Okay. Yeah.
And yep, I'll find a set of keys, and then we will head back out. We obviously 5 of us are not going to fit on this little go-kart. Nope. So, Ford, you're going to take the doctor and the patient, and I'll say, go back. But don't go in. Just go back. Right. You know what I mean?
Hear you.
Okay. And so I'll send them on the way, send them on the go-kart, make sure that they get out okay. For Sean and I will look for we'll look for a vehicle somewhere around. Walk around. Trying to find the vehicle that these keys match.
Sure, yeah.
Eventually I'll hear a chirp.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll jump in that car, start her up, and we will head out.
Okay.
As we're heading out, I'm going to pull out a little little thing, and go and do a little electronic search to see if there's any tracking device on this vehicle. I'm sure there's some sort of GPS on it.
Mm-hmm.
So once we get out to a little bit safe out in the desert, we'll stop. Pull it there. Got a little flashlight. GPS device underneath the dashboard. Pull it out. Dismantle it. Disable it. Throw it on the side of the road. Keep on going.
Okay.
Back home.
All right, so that moves us on to chapter 5, the final chapter. Characters return to their original state and determine their tragic end or heroic fate. So now you've got plot points, and you get another plot point for moving on into this. And you can use those plot points to basically describe what you feel like happens for your character and perhaps for the end of the story as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with Ford.
So let's see. Okay. All right. Got it. I'm falling right now, so I can use a plot point, spend it to do a rising one and change it, right? And end up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna go on like the befriend on the rising action here, and I'm going to, while waiting for the marshals to get back, talking with the doctor and attempting to find out as much as I can, essentially, about kind of how this started, what he means by the type of animals he needs to maybe fix it, and then see what I can do on that front. Having not out loud or anything, but like internally already decided that I can't believe that we've pulled this off and this has worked. And if we can solve this crisis, whatever this man needs, I'm going to be the one to go get it. I just gotta talk to him, befriend him, figure out exactly what he needs and how I can make this happen. As my last great act for all the bullshit that I did in the army and everything else. So waiting for them to return, I kind of initiate that conversation with him, try to get him to realize, hey, we're here to help and try to solve this crisis before we get found out, because I'm sure they're looking for him by now.
And I'll spend a plot point to continue that conversation with him, between you and him. And he tells you that essentially what he needs is he needs to get to New York City.
Shit.
To the national headquarters of the CDC. And he knows some people there that he should be able to work with to help work on a cure, and that the CDC in New York is not under the constant surveillance that the military has on this particular unit here in Albuquerque. Now, there is a military presence there for sure, but he seems to believe that he should be able to work with these individuals and potentially work with the military there to actually get what he needs. The folks here have been adamant about keeping this under wraps so that it didn't get out, that it was the military and the CDC that actually started this. And he's hopeful that getting back to home base back in New York, he might be able to actually do some good and be able to convince the higher ups to do what actually needs to happen to be able to combat this contagion. Which means he needs somebody or some people to help get him there safely. Because once the military finds out that he's missing, they're probably going to be hot on their heels.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna pitch a classic idea here, and it's gonna take myself and Sean and John to pull this off. But if we can get the right number of vehicles quickly and all head roughly the same direction, we pull the old they don't know what car he's in trick. If we all three head different directions, somebody's got the doctor, nobody knows who, that one's going to New York. I don't foresee this ending any other way, because the second we get on the road with just one car or one vehicle of any kind, they're going to find us. There's going to be somebody asking questions before we make that long of a trek. Our best bet, I think, is to make them think somebody else has the doctor and make them follow that person. I'm open to any ideas, but we've come this far. The only way to see this through is to get this man to New York.
I agree, but I don't agree splitting up's the best idea.
Oh wait, you think we can take them all on, just the three of us? And the doctor don't know how to shoot?
You can teach the doctor how to shoot. Either that. Well, first things first, we need to get this girl into town. I'm sure there's probably some people looking for her. But anyway, we get him to New York. Splitting up is the stupidest thing, because then when they come free, it's you and a doctor that can't shoot. If it's three of us, then there's three of us that can shoot.
Savannah speaks up. She's heard basically the whole story at this point. Savannah is the girl that you guys rescued. She says, look, what the doctor did to me, I get now that he was not doing it of his own free will. I don't have anybody left. I got bit. I survived. My family were set upon by a pack, and none of them survived.
Very sorry to hear that, ma'am.
I do know how to use that gun. So there's not just three of you, there's four. You count me along for the ride. I'll do what I can to help.
See, now we got ourselves a regular little militia here, Ford. And I'd much rather be traveling. No, I can't say that. I'd rather be traveling alone. But common sense says we should stick together.
Well,
hey, Ford. Do you know what listen real close. Be real quiet. Do you hear that?
Can't say it's a do. I don't hear anything.
If you listen real close, I can hear it. Listen, it goes thump thump, thump thump, thump thump.
Yeah, I suppose I've heard that.
Oh, go fuck yourself, Sean.
I think we found the Tin Man's heart.
Just might have. Just might have. All
and right. Ford, I think you found your courage.
Yeah. I think we found the solution. I just know whatever course of action we take, we better take it now. They cannot be too far behind us.
I would agree.
Let's get this man to New York.
Let's get there. I got to do a couple things first, though. Ford, get your friend on that ham radio over here.
Bill, what you want with him?
I got a lot of shit out here that he may want that we can't take with us.
Oh, you're not planning on coming back, huh?
Well, probably not for a while.
All right, I'll get a hold of it.
Tell him the security password's 1234.
Are you fucking with me?
Nope.
Unbelievable, man. All the rumors that went around about you. 1, 2, 3. Jesus Christ. Calling Bill up on the radio, getting hold of him and explaining it all. You can hear Bill on the radio go, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Sean, in a quiet moment, corners John before you guys head out on the road. He says, so, Uncle John,
What?
I think I lied to you when we first met, and I want to apologize for that.
What'd you lie to me about?
Sean is not my real name. It's my middle name.
Okay. What's your real name then, boy?
John Marshall. Pleased to meet you.
Man, always was a sentimental sack of shit. Nice to meet you, John.
All right, I think that's a good closer. All right, well, thanks for jumping on board tonight, guys.
Good night.
Yeah, thanks
Call
for
it
the
a
fun
night.
game.
All
It was a
right.
good time.
Yep. Have a
See
good
y'all
one.
next time.
Okay, see ya. Bye.